We are live.
Live.
Welcome everyone to this QuaranCon reading with the talented Levi Jacobs, who is also a dear friend of mine.
And talented Virgin McLean, just saying.
Sure, but it's not my show. I mean, it's okay. It's kind of my show, but it's not
kind of your show.
My show. This is not my episode.
I'm just the content.
Like you're just the content. The
I just work for this lady. I don't know.
I'm the puppet master.
You are, as discussed.
No. And Pam is really she's the one in charge of scheduling. I'm just here pushing buttons.
She's behind the scenes.
Anyway, yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
if anyone is the puppet master, it's Pam. But meanwhile, Levi, y'all probably want to know a little bit about him. So for one thing, he's a lovely human who resides in the mountains. I'm not even gonna specify where because I don't know if you want stalkers following you to your house or whatever. But and his book entitled Beggar's Rebellion was a Spiffo 5 finalist and is excellent.
Neck and neck with Virginia the whole time.
That's true. Actually, I forgot we were like main competition, but you
frenemies.
You edged me out, right?
My blades edged you out.
But I was still the queen of sevens. It's so funny because I think I had way more sevens than you, and yet we still had the same score.
I know,
almost.
It's crazy. Well, I think I got a 4, and anyway, Spiffo is another topic,
separate topic. And if you all want to know more about it, you can watch our Spiffo panel.
That's true.
So, but anyway, Levi was a Spiffo 5 finalist with Beggar's Rebellion, and his new series that starts with Daughter of Flood and Fury came out in 2021 and is excellent. And that's a YA. Is that actually YA? I know there's a young adult protagonist.
It's YA, but epic is how I describe it.
Okay, YA.
I fit a lot of cool details into a very fast pace.
There you go. Excellent.
With lots of feels.
Love it. But Levi's going to be reading to us. We get an exclusive preview of a work in progress, which is very
world premiere, my friends.
We're so fancy. And I don't know. That's kind of it. Levi's awesome. Enjoy the reading. I'm going to disappear now until right at the end. Or maybe with their questions, I'll relay them to you if you don't want to keep an eye on the chat.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. If I don't pick them up. Yep.
I'll do that. But I'm gonna disappear. Everyone enjoy the reading. Here's Levi.
Yay, here I am. And before I start, I am required by my puppet masters to do some bookkeeping. So you have probably heard by now that we have an awesome book sale on. There are free and 99-cent books only. So it's hard to spend a lot of money and difficult to not get a bunch of awesome fiction from people who are participating. I was not organized enough to do it. Although the books you mentioned, Beggar's Rebellion, you can get that entire set for 99 cents if you look on Amazon. But the book sale has a lot of stuff that is not normally 99 cents. So I would go grab it. That is QuaranCon2022.com/book sale. We ask that you do observe our code of conduct, which you can find at QuaranCon2022.com/code of conduct, especially if you're going to drop YouTube comments. I mean, I invited all my newsletter readers to come and heckle. So if you're going to heckle, that's perfectly fine, just according to code of conduct. Let's see, what else should I tell you about? And you should definitely check out all the other cool things that are happening because there's still so many cool things happening. I'm very impressed by the scope of this con because there are so many things every day, and everyone that I watch, I'm taking notes. So I think after this, we have reading from Neil Williamson. And then there's a neurodiversity in SFF panel, which should be awesome. Our talk on grief, healing, and hope yesterday was super cool. So I love these genre discussions about where is fantasy going? What are the things that we need to do better? And I guess it's SFF. I say fantasy because I'm mostly a fantasy writer, but my science fiction homies are right there with us. So the full schedule to see all the things that are coming up is QuaranCon2020.com/2022 schedule. And everything that's happened, if you've missed out, is archived on YouTube. I think except for a few super secret things. My workshop might become one of those secret things if I ever write a book about it, but you can find that in Friday's schedule and so many other things. I am going to be watching this con for the next, I don't know, as long as it takes me. Every Saturday I cook and I need lots of content while I'm cooking. So QuaranCon cooking. Let's see. So yes, Virginia told you all about me. I shall not praise myself other than to say that what I'm going to read from, like she said, has never been read anywhere before other than on my computer. And it's part of the Tidecaller Chronicles, which starts with Daughter of Flood and Fury, like she said. This is a prequel novella featuring a side character that everyone loves from Daughter of Flood and Fury, Gaxna. And it's set a few months before the beginning of book one. There are no spoilers for book one if you haven't read it and want to, but there are secrets that are like lurking in the background of the entire series that haven't come out. I'm just about to release book three that come out, maybe not in this opening, but that come out in the course of this novella. So I'm super excited about it. This is a novella that's going to be exclusive to my newsletter and free to them as soon as I'm done with it, which hopefully is the end of the month. But this is first draft. I have not even finished the draft. I don't know what's going to happen in the end exactly, but I think the beginning is probably going to be the beginning. So maybe you should check it out later just to see how much I change what I read right now. But yeah, hopefully by the end of the month, it is done. And when you sign up for my newsletter, you can get a copy of it. Or if you read the Tidecaller Chronicles so far, you'll probably find it interesting. But anyway, that's the world that it's part of, that world that I called YA but epic. I tried to make it really fast paced, but to still have that sense of epic scale. And we're getting to the epic things that happen, like the epic scale of conflict and like world threatening stuff, just through more books rather than through super long books, because I don't think that we always love super long books. And I think that, like, as writers, I know a lot of people watching are authors. I think it's great to have a shorter length to force you into meaningful beginning, middle, and ends instead of just a bunch of middle before you have to wrap it all up. I like to force myself to be concise and to make sure that things are happening and the pacing doesn't suck. So hopefully that comes through in this reading, even though it's a first draft. So I think without further ado, I literally don't have a title for this yet. It's just the Gaxna novella. All the titles in this series are person of something and something. So I think it's going to be Thief of I do not know what and what. So we'll call it that for now. Maybe we can make that official title on YouTube. Okay, and here I go getting my narrator voice on because I also narrate this series. Alrighty, so Thief of something and something. Let me adjust my screens a little bit so this is pretty. I wake with my blood pounding and my face stuck to something rough. Sit up and suck in a breath. The roof. I'm on the roof, and the rosy light on pale brick and the shouts of vendors in the street below tell me it's morning. Instinct takes over, trained into me from years living under the witches. I roll to my feet, looking for enemies, scanning for escape routes, patting my body for my tools. They're all there. Thief's rope, poison bracelet, pair of knives, extra wig, pouch of herbs. I see no enemies, and after a moment, I recognize the place. Orange glazed ceramic roof tiles leading up a low slope to a wall with bricked-in windows, view of the bay off the far edge. This is my current hideout, or the roof of it anyway. What the fuck am I doing sleeping on the roof? I take a ragged breath, heart still pounding, trying to clear my thoughts. What am I doing here? I should be down there sleeping for another 4 hours. It's morning. I hate morning. Nightmares again? Maybe, but it's been months and they never made me sleepwalk up to the roof. I run a hand through the stubble on my scalp, absently adjusting the straps over my chest. I'm okay, I whisper, like a torch against the icy fear climbing inside. My heart is beating, my lungs are working, my mind is here and now. I'm okay. That's the mantra they taught me at the farm after I escaped the witches. The mantra that's kept me sane the last year and a half. The mantra that made me strong enough to come back. I take another breath, say the mantra again, focus on the here and now. I'm not in the Witches Guild. They haven't contacted me in months, haven't tried to possess me in a year. This could have been something else. Still, the icy hand that tries to seize my heart finds a home in my belly, coiling there, whispering fears to counter every rational thought I muster up. Astresia. I wish Astresia were here. Astresia with her soft voice and silky hair and the way she would run her hand down my back, slow and gentle, and the words she would whisper in my ear. She's the only one I've ever known who could calm me down. Until she chose the witches over me, anyway. I pull out a clove twist and light it with a match. The leaves crackle as I draw in smoke. Did she do this? Jayan knows she's trained with them long enough to pull off a possession, and she has my blood. Then again, Half the Witches Guild has my blood. Any of them could have done it. I suck smoke again, knowing that's the voice of fear. I repeat the mantra. Whatever happened, it didn't kill me. That means I have a chance to fight back. Which makes me think of Owena, the rail-thin girl I snuck out of the guild house 3 nights back, sleeping in the hideout downstairs. Fear does get a grip on my heart this time. Did they come and take her? Is that what this is about? But when I climb down, I find her there and safe, albeit awake in the muggy pre-dawn haze, eyes wide and watching. It's just me, I say, holding up a hand as I climb in. Just Gaxna. You're safe. Funny how I can pull myself together when it's for someone else. Where did you go? Her voice is calm, almost deadpan, but that's one of the ways girls react to the witch's training. Astresia was like that for a while, until she bought in. I don't know, I tell her. I should hide it, but this is one of the rules I made with myself when I started rescuing the girls that wanted to get out. I wouldn't lie to them. They've been lied to enough already. Are usually totally confused by all the fish slop the witches tell them. Time on the farm is what they need, but I can at least stop the lies. That, and I need the honesty just as much as they do. I sit down on one of the crates scattered across this cramped room. This is a lonely life, and I wouldn't make it if I didn't have someone to talk to. I know, deep down, I'm just pretending they're Astresia, but I also know they won't be here long enough for it to be a problem. Just until I can find a merchant headed north and work up the money to send them. Like 2 travelers sharing an inn, no obligations, no consequences, no reason not to be totally honest. It was the guild, she says quietly, certainty in her voice. We don't know that, I say, as much to my own fear as her. Do you have any abrasions? I look at my hands, see the patches of raw flesh along the palms. I think I saw this when I first woke up and just made myself ignore it. I'm good at that. But these are classic possession scrapes. Not even the senior witches have perfect control over a body. You get cuts and bruises. I do. She just nods, one survivor to another. She probably still has them on her own palms. Do you remember anything? I try, but not very hard. Memories are one of the places I can't fight fear, one of the things Ceedie couldn't help with. She said they would get weaker with time, that what I did now would replace what happened back then. I'm still working on that, still waiting for them to get weak. Flashes, I say, and pull on the twist again, the thing burnt nearly to its stump. A mansion in Old Saray, a guard fighting me, and I jerk my thoughts back to the here and now, pull on the clove twist. You were a bloodseeker, right? Owena asks in that too calm voice. Training for it. I never actually went out on a mission. Or not on my own. They possessed you. It's not a question. Owena knows. I haven't asked her what happened to her in the guild, but I'm sure she was possessed too. Everyone is. It's part of learning to trust, they told us. Part of accepting your place in the sisterhood. Part of getting your hands so bloody you can't leave, more like. A few times, I say. These memories, at least, I've been over so many times, they don't hurt the same way. Errands, mostly. Then the last time, they made me meet a monk, pretend I was someone else, keep him distracted while their archer lined up a shot. Owena's face is blank. She is old before her time, like all the girls I rescue. Did he die? No, I say, voice getting thick despite myself. I light another twist off the last, throw the stub out the window. The monk realized what they were doing, dodged. It punctured his lung, maybe a pulmonary artery. They made me chase him, track him to a fountain, and push him under. An emotion flashes across her face, her cheekbones casting shadows in the brightening light. You killed him. I laugh out smoke. You get it, at least. The others, they said it wasn't me, that I was just a tool, that I needed to trust in the guild's wisdom, that it would be okay. It's not okay, Owena says quietly. It's never okay. The hopelessness in her voice is like a lifeline, pulling me back in. I know that's fucked up, but maybe that's why I stay here, rescuing runaways, to keep myself together, to give me purpose, new memories, to bury the old. I take her hand. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong, but you're free now. And whatever happened back there, you can make a new life. I did. They don't control who you are. That's your choice. She just nods, but I can tell my words don't do much. That's okay. That's the farm's job. I just have to get her there. So what are you going to do now? She asks, eyes still on the floor. Find who did it, I say simply. It all seems so clear now when I have to tell someone else. And make sure they never do it again. Owena sucks in her breath. Even if it's one of the sisters? They have your blood. They'll kill you. Better that than this, I growl, feeling the determination rise in me as I do. I'm not living like this. I decided that 17 months ago when I first escaped the guild house, and I guess I always knew they wouldn't just let me go. So yeah, going after them might get me killed, but better that than live in fear. And I'll leave it there. I do have another couple sections in it, and things are getting spicy in the novella, but yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Let me do we have any comments? Should I babble for a section?
We have some comments. There are people actively listening, but we don't have any real questions.
Okay. Cool. Well, if y'all have any questions about that or about me or spoiler stuff or whatever, hit me up. I can hang out for a couple of minutes. I'm not gonna
both Neil and Julia say they just bought Daughter of Flood and Fury.
Oh, thank you.
So that's exciting.
That's awesome.
And yeah, no questions yet, but folks, go ahead and you drop your questions in. There's a bit of a lag between when we say stuff and when you hear it. And so we'll just wait to hear from y'all. Julia says, damn, I do like that. Glad I bought the book.
Thanks. Yeah. So this character is not going to show up for a hot minute, but she shows up and you never get to be in her head like we are here. I've never written from her point of view because the book is in first person of someone else's point of view. And it's really fun to explore the mindset of someone who on the outside is like just snarky and sassy and tough. And then go on the inside and find that she's actually so bruised from what happened to her. And especially right now, like she needs to get over a thing to get to the point where she is in book number 1. So it's really fun to like have a character arc and then like work backwards to what were they like before this one started and to write that character. It's been a lot of fun.
That is.
Oh, totally. Yeah. So I'm watching the comments now.
Okay. There you are. Okay.
Yeah. I am a big fan of Wide for sure for audio. There's a way to buy it directly from me if you want on Authors Direct, but it's on all the platforms. So yeah. Yeah.
Wide for audio is nice.
Wide for audio is awesome. It also means that we can give away review copies of stuff through Findaway, which is super cool. I haven't set that up yet, but so Neil asked if I do my own audio narration. I'm gonna take a deep breath and say yes. You heard how I do it. Basically, I would be a little bit better than that, and I could go back and fix the mistakes. Oh, thank you. It's really funny. So I had a deep sale on that audiobook in December, and I sold a ton of copies, which was super cool through a new audiobook discount service called Chirp that y'all should check out if you like audio.
Everyone should check out Chirp. Yes.
Yeah, they're super cool, and they only take wide audiobooks, so they're into that market. But anyway, it was really funny because then a bunch of reviews came in because I suddenly sold like 5x the audiobooks that I'd ever sold before on this series. And I sold books 1 and 2, and it was really clear like there's a certain percentage of people that can't get over the fact that my protagonist is female and I'm male narrating it, and they're just like, should have shelled out for female narrator. Like it wasn't that my narration was bad, but just that the gender didn't match. And I know this is a thing, and I like explained it to myself as my character is actually kind of genderqueer, or not kind of, she is, but they don't have terms for it there. She's just a girl born with a man's magic who is disliked for her gender across the board. And so I was kind of like, well, for someone who wouldn't necessarily even identify that way, can I use this voice that I have? But,
I mean, I think you see it even in trad books sometimes where there's a male narrator for a female POV. And especially in alternating POV books, right? Because if there's one male and one female, they often will choose a male narrator to do the entire thing instead of doing both. And so it definitely comes up a lot. I don't think you're alone in doing that.
I don't think I am. And I'm also the author. So theoretically, I'm going to read it the way I intended it to be read.
Yeah.
Although sometimes as I'm narrating my books, I'm like, how did I intend this to be? And the cool thing is it hasn't come out yet and I just revise it.
Woohoo! Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the advantage of that. But I get it too. As a reader, I sometimes struggle with male narrators for female POV.
Yeah.
And I don't have any, like, I don't dislike it on principle or anything, but it just often throws me out of the story. But I also am not an avid audiobook listener, so my opinion counts substantially less, I think, than a lot of other avid listeners. And a good voice is a good voice. I mean, like, I could listen to Neil Gaiman narrate anything. I don't care whose
totally.
POV it is, right? And your voice is lovely, so
Thank you.
I'm sure plenty of people will still love it. But yeah, I get it. I get why people complain about it. I also get why you did it. I think it's it's just down to preference.
It's really funny because the reviews on book one, a significant portion of them are that this wrong narrator for the book. And then there's no other comments about like the narration quality, like in book two, or for the other people who had things to say. It's either like gender is wrong, so they're not down. But I got a really funny comment on, so the first book that I published was a fairly dark dystopian sci-fi. And somebody was like, love the narrator, his voice is sunshine and rainbows, it's just not right for this book. I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have sounded so happy.
Sorry, Levi, but you don't get to be Levi when you're reading that book. You have to actually embody the world more. Make yourself
it's so
grittier.
hard for me to be dark, but I guess I write kind of dark, so I have to get into the dark and stormy mindset.
There you go.
Maybe I should use that voice. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, problem solved.
We got some comments.
You do.
In first person, Kipvari, I'm so sorry if I say that wrong. I can get how first person is a little bit more grindy than third if the like gender sounds off, because it's like I'm directly saying the thoughts in the head. Yeah. I also really hesitated because I have heard some authors read their own books. Like, I'm just going to say it, Ursula K. Le Guin. I listened to her narrate Left Hand of Darkness, and she's an amazing author, and I wasn't into her narration style. So I was like, I need to make sure that I'm decent at this, or I should not do it even though I want to.
Yeah. I mean, that I have heard many authors narrate their own books who shouldn't, like it's not as uncommon as it should be.
Yeah, it definitely should not be the default. Like, I'll just narrate my own. No. You should study how to narrate first. Yeah. And make sure you have a good setup and that you want to do the work, because oh my God,
it's a lot of work.
Because you've done it too.
I know. It's a lot of work. Yep.
Neil, that's funny that you say Scottish accents, because I do not attempt that in any professional context. But I lived in Uganda for 1.5 years, and sometimes when I need a really foreign accent, I just drop into my Ugandan accent, because while I was there, I was more intelligible to people if I like copied the accent. And so I spent 1.5 years talking like that, and it feels really natural to me. But for someone who hasn't lived or isn't familiar with kind of like the East African, like it's kind of sing-song, I think they're probably like, wow, this narrator's gone off the deep end. Like, what is this man saying when he can narrate like that? That is not the proper way.
Oh my God. I actually love that accent. And I loved actually that they used it in Black Panther and versions of that, right?
Totally.
That was delightful.
Yes. Yep.
But like,
okay.
I'm just reading
good.
Julia's thoughts.
Thank you, Kivaria. I like that. I haven't listened to Michael Fletcher, but I should.
Yeah, I haven't actually either.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I need to. Yeah, it is interesting to think about not only gender, but like tone. Like, I'm just used to being like a positive, enthusiastic person. And if the book isn't that way, maybe I need to like change the setting, like make it very dark and have like grim pictures on the background or something.
Do something. Yeah, get yourself in the headspace that's right for the book.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're too sparkly. Turn up a unicorn.
Yeah, I'm always like, I mean, I don't write romance, but my books are always like HFN at least. Like, I always have happy endings. So hopefully, the tone matches the brain that made the story.
Mine are always upbeat too, at least in the long run. But yeah.
Yeah, I really loved Cyro's Claw, by the way. I don't think I ever told you that, but I just like it was a fun, adventurous romp.
Yay! Yay!
Yeah, like I read Blade's Edge, and yeah, Claw takes it for me for sure. I just like the tone so much better.
Well, thank you. And that's appropriate because Cyril's Claw was written much more recently, and I think it's a much better book. Like
Would it be awful if somebody's like, not your first book was your best? Sorry, you've gone
I would
downhill.
be so sad. I would be so sad.
I live in deep fear
remains
of
my
that, I'll
best-selling book. So I don't know.
Blade's
I like
Edge?
a landslide. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a book one, and it's been around the longest. I think Beggar's Rebellion is that for me too.
Yeah.
Even though it's not my strongest book at all, but it's not a bad book.
No.
Yeah.
It's not a bad book.
But Daughter of Flood and Fury is better. If y'all like this, go check it out. You can also get some other free novellas that I wrote at my website, levijacobs.com/free. And you can get them in audio if you like the way I read it. They're both available in audio for free. So
nice.
Thank you, Kivaria. I will admit that I put some romance in this, and I feel like I'm still learning to be a romance author. There was an amazing romance as subplot panel that happened yesterday, 2 days ago. I'm looking at your
Friday,
icon on the screen.
Yeah, I think it was Friday.
If you're going to make eye contact with me
through that image, that would actually be really.
That was on Friday, but it was super good, and I was taking notes. I was like, okay, yep, all right, because this next book 3 that's coming out, has some romance in it, but it has never for me been predominantly, because I am just too much of a geek about world building and magic and epic conflicts. So
well, we do actually need to wrap up on time. We have 3 minutes, but there is a reading immediately after this. So
okay, yeah, let's do it.
If you have any final thoughts, you can share those.
Do I have any final thoughts? I mean,
do you have any estimate on when this book is coming out?
Yeah, so I think that I am going to finish this draft next week. And then I'll hit up some alpha readers and revise, and some beta readers and revise again, and then do a proofread, and then do a narration as the final proofread, and hopefully that will happen before May. I'm doing it at the same time that I'm doing all of those last revision steps for book 3, Rebel of Riddle and Woe, and I kind of want to drop them together.
Nice.
And this one will be free to drive interest to the whole series. So yeah, hopefully by May, and you can get that by signing up to my newsletter, and it might appear on Story Origin if y'all look at promotions there.
Sweet.
But yeah, mostly thanks for coming and listening. I hope you enjoyed it, and that it sounds like something I should keep writing, because I never know. Literally, you're the first ones to hear it, so if it sucks, like, tell me that in the comments.
Well, at least you got 2 people who are stoked they bought Flood and Fury just now, so that seems like a win.
Must not have been entirely awful.
Exactly. And next up is a reading by Neil Williamson.
Yes.
So everyone tune in for that.
Totally.
Don't forget to check out our book sale. Levi, you actually did all the amazing housekeeping stuff. So I'm not
good
even
housekeeper.
Bother. You're a great housekeeper. Good job. So yeah, thanks everyone for coming. I'm going to end this stream now.
Yes,
Levi, smile and wave.
Smiling and waving. Thanks for being my wonderful tech and introducer and general friendly interlocutor. See y'all.
Benevolent person. Bye.
Benevolent, yes. Benevolent dictator.
All right, we're done.